So Decisive Strike is being changed. Is that a good change or is it a bad change? Well, there are arguments on both sides of the fence on why some people like or dislike this change. Before we get into that, what is Decisive Strike exactly? Decisive Strike is what killer mains call a get out of jail free card, but survivors call it an anti-tunneling perk. Let's take a look at the perk. Using whatever is at hand, you stab at your aggressor in an ultimate attempt to escape. After being unhooked or unhooking yourself, Decisive Strike will activate. Decisive Strike will become active and usable for 40, 50, and 60 seconds. While Decisive Strike is active, when grabbed by the killer, succeed a skill check to automatically escape the killer's grasp and stun them for 5 seconds. Succeeding or failing the skill check will disable Decisive Strike. Successfully stunning the killer will result in you becoming the obsession. Increases the odds of being the obsession. So now that you know what Decisive Strike actually is, I would like to say that after playing this game for about 7,000 hours, I actually do play this game quite equally. I play both Killer and Survivor 50-50. Yes, Decisive Strike is an annoying perk, but guess what? If you don't want to get hit with Decisive Strike, you have a couple options here. You can either slug the Survivor if you happen to find them shortly after they were unhooked, or you can not tunnel them. Yeah, I said it, don't tunnel them. Yes, some players are assholes and will go directly to you so that you'll chase them. They'll try to antagonize you, try and get under your skin, try to piss you off. And sometimes it's just bad luck, they find their way to you again. No need to be a dick and tunnel after them. Honestly, I mean, now I get it. When you have a game where you have that one asshole survivor that keeps pissing you off and sometimes you just want them out of the game. I get it. We've all been there. Sure, go ahead and play how you choose to. But don't bitch about them running a perk that is literally a one-use perk. The same can be said about several killer perks, but this video is about Decisive Strike and whether or not these changes in the upcoming patch are good for the game. So let's talk about these changes. While active, the following interactions deactivate Decisive Strike: repairing generators, healing, cleansing totems, sabotaging hooks, unhooking others, pretty much doing anything at all besides going towards the killer. Now I personally don't care for these changes, and no, this doesn't make me a Survivor main, because I'm not. Decisive Strike is actually fine how it is. The only time Decisive Strike truly irritates me is in-game, and that's how it should truly irritate anybody, is in-game, because you don't have much of an option. You have a fresh unhooked survivor on the ground with a gate open. You can either let them crawl out or risk grabbing them and them having Decisive Strike. The odds are truly in the survivor's favor in that case, unless they're just not running it or they miss Decisive Strike. Decisive Strike only lasts at max 60 seconds. Are you telling me you can't locate a new survivor to chase in that amount of time? By the time you find, down, and hook another survivor, the other one's Decisive Strike will typically expire. It's only 60 seconds. Quit your fucking bitching. As killers, we have two okay times, in my opinion, on when tunneling someone is okay and just to eat the DS. One, you have two survivors remaining and the last person still has Decisive Strike active and the other is hooked. That means you only have one survivor left to chase. That's fine. That's not really called tunneling at that point. There's only one survivor left. Two, it's in-game and you don't have a lot of options. I understand that. In-game camping, in-game tunneling, it's gonna happen. You're limited on what you can do, determining what killer you're running and how good you are at them. Other than that, those two options, Decisive Strike is not a threat. Quit bitching. If you're a killer main, shut the fuck up and play both sides before you whine about a fucking perk. I am so fucking tired of hearing people bitch and moan about one perk. Decisive Strike is not that strong. If you notice, I rarely get hit with Decisive Strike in my videos. Wanna know why? Because I don't tunnel. Plain and simple. So since all the actual killer mains bitched and cried about this perk for years, now they're finally making these unnecessary changes to it. Now with these changes, what options do you have as a survivor? If you want the option to use your one-time use perk and it's still early on or mid-match, now you can either play like an asshole and bully the killer if they allow it. Now you won't be doing a damn thing to help your team but be an annoyance, honestly. If you choose to do anything at all besides sit in a corner or bother the killer, your perk is immediately rendered useless. So honestly, let's be honest, how fair is that let's say you get off the hook and you run off to the corner somewhere and you go to start healing. Let's say you're running a med kit or self-care, but the killer happens to find you. Well, guess what? Your perk's deactivated because you decided to start healing. That honestly is not fair, that you're losing a perk because you decided to start healing yourself some. So now that you're literally doing nothing but trying to get tunneled by the killer, now the killer can slug you and walk away, making another teammate have to come get you off the ground. I get the idea behind this, but that's if you're running with friends. Most, and I mean most, like 99% of the randoms you will face are selfish assholes and will not help you do anything but escape. They literally will not help you. They are nothing but selfish assholes and will try and make sure that they get out because they're thinking about number one. That's it. This is the number one reason why I rarely play solo queue. I try to have a minimum of one friend with me per game, mainly because I enjoy conversing with my friends. And this game is boring as shit talking to yourself after a while. That's why when I do play killer lately, I can probably play like an hour, 2 or 3 hours maybe, before I'm just like, alright, I want to go play something else. Because this game gets fucking boring. I know a lot of players will start running Unbreakable a lot more, so everyone should keep that in mind with these upcoming changes. If you thought it was bad and annoying before, remember, you caused this. If you ever bitched about Decisive Strike. Now, let's move on. Now let's talk about Object of Obsession. This perk can honestly be one of the most annoying perks in the game. I'll be first to admit that. I would rather deal with Decisive Strike than Object. Because Object is just one of those perks. It's just a trolling perk, honestly. That's what it's meant to do. It's just meant to troll, meme, whatever you want to call it. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to piss the killer off. I noticed whenever I first went up against Object a long time ago, years ago, my first match ever going up against it, I saw someone's aura, I went towards it, halfway across the map, and it disappeared, and I was like, well, shit, now I gotta try and figure out exactly where they are. And it wasted my time. But what exactly is Object of Obsession? A supernatural bond that links you to the killer. If you're looking in the killer's direction, your link will reveal your auras to each other. This effect applies only if you are outside the killer's terror radius, as the killer's obsession. This effect applies to a maximum range of 56, 64, and 72 meters. Otherwise, it applies to a maximum range of 44, 56, and 64 meters. Also increases the odds of being the obsession. This perk has needed some tweaking or even a rework for a long time. This perk would absolutely destroy stealth killers like Wraith, Ghostface. This perk is useless, honestly, if you're a killer. This perk is actually very strong and provides survivors with the most amount of information if used correctly. Object of Obsession is pretty much like I said, it's a troll perk to be honest. A lot of cocky survivors will run it to get the killer to go after them, and about halfway they'll stop using it. They'll stop using it to hide their aura, essentially wasting killer time. Like I said before, killers are more inclined to play toxic against Object of Obsession users. I mean, that just is what it is. They know you're playing like an asshole, so they're going to play like an asshole. Now let's look at the proposed changes. A natural bond links you to the killer. Whenever your aura is revealed to the killer's aura is revealed to you. Okay, that sounds about the same. If you are the obsession, your aura is revealed to the killer for 3 seconds, once every 40, 35, and 30 seconds. Increase the odds of becoming the obsession. Okay, so looking at this, I'm not quite sure what they're fully changing. And I know I just read that, that's fine. Are they going to have the full information aura, then killers get a free glimpse every 30 seconds, whether you look at them or not? Or are they eliminating the original perk and allowing the new change? Because the first part of the perk can easily be applied to every 30 seconds, to the every 30 second reveal. Now, what I'm trying to understand here, do we still have that, I can look at the killer all the time and then they can see me whenever I look at them, and then every 30 seconds, whether or not I'm looking at them, are they going to get that opportunity to see my aura for 3 seconds? Because I mean, I don't really agree with that. It's not actually needed. There's other ways they could tweak it. I don't really have an idea on it right now, but give me some time to think about it and I can definitely put something out. So what exactly happens if I'm not the obsession though? Will Object Obsession work as originally designed? Because now there's an opportunity, if you're the obsession, that 3 seconds happens. If I'm not the obsession, does that happen? Like, what's going on? What is going on with this perk? This, I personally would like more information on. So if you know more specifically, please let me know in the comments below. I honestly don't know much about this perk and what they're all doing. I wanted to make a separate video on this, but I figured why not add it since it is the most recent change and a future change everyone wants. Moris and keys. Let's talk about a Mori. What is a Mori? A Mori is an offering a killer can bring to kill a recently hooked survivor by hand. Basically, it's an animated kill. There are 3 types of Moris. There's the Cypress Mori, there's the Ivory Mori, and then there's the Ebony Mori. The Cypress, which allowed you to kill the last person by hand, regardless if you have ever hooked them. An Ivory Mori allowed you to Mori one person that has been hooked at least once. An Ebony Mori allowed you to Mori everyone on the team as long as they've been hooked at least once. Now they have changed them to allow you to Mori a survivor after being hooked twice. Basically, on 3rd hook, you can Mori the person now, which honestly, this is a waste of a change. It did nothing. Moris are not even a threat anymore. Now you're just using it for an animation. There's no threat behind actually bringing a Mori. These offerings are now pretty much rendered useless in my opinion. Some people love this change and others do not. I get it. They needed to change because how fair is it for a survivor to wait 10 to 15 minutes for a lobby just to get downed, hooked, tunneled, and Mori'd off 1st hook? It actually sucked ass. Yes, when I play Survivor, when that shit happened, that would piss me off to no end, because it's like, dude, I just waited like 20 minutes for a game just to be dead in 2 minutes. Like, that's fucking bullshit. I have an idea that could make for a better change. Make the killer hook each survivor at least one time before you can even consider using Mori. So for a green Mori, for instance, an Ivory, hook every survivor at least once, then your offering activates, allowing you to hook at least one, allowing you to kill at least one by hand. Yes, it still allows for one hook Moris, but before they can Mori you, your whole team must be on a hook first. So being the final hook might suck, because then they can just tunnel you down and Mori you right away. But it's better than having a killer camp tunnel and first hook Mori you 2 minutes into the game. I believe this would be a much better balance for Moris, allowing them to actually be a threat. Because now, Moris mean absolutely nothing to most good players. Now it's just a faster death to get out of that game sooner, honestly. So if you're annoyed with this game and you want to die sooner, sure, run at them on your death hook. Now they can Mori you, get out of there, go find another game. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite item. Keys! We get it. Keys need to be changed. And we don't know what the devs have in store for keys. Honestly, I don't even know what they're going to do. And I'm honestly concerned, because a lot of these changes they make honestly are not within the best interest of the community. I feel like a lot of these changes are based on what certain sides want. And at times, it does feel like they're in favor of survivors, and sometimes it feels like they're in favor of killers. That's up for debate. So here's my idea on how to fix keys. First off, remove the green key from all chest RNG. It is literally useless. We don't like the green key. The only time it's usable is literally to bring in when you're running an aura reading add-on. That's it. Other than that, it's fucking trash. Get rid of it. At least out of the chests. It should not be in the RNG, even for plunders. Just get rid of that shit. What's the point in seeing it? It's very disappointing to find a key in a chest and it's green. Like, at that point, it's fucking useless. The function behind the key would be the same in order to use it. Complete 2 generators at least for 1 survivor. Cool. The dull key, aka the purple key, should only last 1 second, allowing enough time for 1 survivor to get out. And that's 1 second for the hatch. Now, you can keep your 5 second for aura reading purposes. That's fine. But I feel like the key by default should only allow 1 second for hatch use. The rest of it can be aura reading, that's fine. Not a big deal. But it should be enough time for 1 survivor to get out, not the whole team. Also, if you leave it at 5 seconds by default for usage, as in aura readings, if the timer only applied to aura readings, that would be fine. 1 second for key use for 1 person to get out is perfectly acceptable in my opinion. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. Let me know. We can discuss it. Now, as for the skeleton key, aka the pink key, this key should allow 4 survivors to escape, but you must bring prayer rope or beads, in my opinion. Or even make a new add-on that allows 4 people to get out with it. That's fine. Make it an ultra rare add-on that allows 4 people to get out. Or even a purple add-on that allows 2 people to get out. Something like that. I don't know. There's many different things you can do that allows a key to keep the hatch open long enough to allow multiple people to get out. That's fine, but I think it should only be applied to the skeleton key. Also, if you bring those add-ons that allow multiple people to get out, make sure your team's ready to go, because otherwise the hatch, I think, should close, honestly. Like it usually does, but like not even stay open for the last person. That would make keys less of a threat. That way the hatch closes, and now you gotta find that last survivor. Not the big of a deal. I think this could be a solid key rework or tweak. I mean, they could try it out. I mean, if somebody wants to forward this to the devs, that'd be great. If you agree with my key idea, let me know. Maybe someone can point this out to the devs and make it a reality. With this change, I feel keys won't be that bad as to go up upon. But if you ever have a problem with keys, remember, bring Franklin's. It's always an option. At the same time, survivors have no counter to Moris, such as a perk. So keep that in mind next time you cry about someone using a key against you. Well, that about wraps up for this video. Hope this helped everyone understand my point of view on some of these changes. I will never want the game to shift too far on just one side. This game needs consistent changes to keep the game balanced for everyone. Remember, at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. It's just a game. So either get good or get off of it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, good game. It's tricky to rock around.